Tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I may remember. Involve me and I'll understand. This is a Chinese proverb, apparently, that really gets to the heart of what it looks like to give personal example and to include someone in an apprenticeship-style education as you seek to lead them into a different way of living. We learn so much better and so much more when we're actually involved in the process of learning something. For a number of years, I've been trying to get my son to learn a little bit about mechanics and how to engage in and how to work on vehicles, whether that be motorcycles or cars or whatever. And I've been telling him the importance of it and all these different kinds of things. And now that we finally got a car for him that we're getting ready for him to be able to use come this summer, he's actually starting to get involved, mainly because I've said, you won't be able to drive it unless you get involved in help fixing it. Now, it's a 2006 Audi A4, and it has a little bit of work that needs to be done beforehand. One of the things that needs to be done, of course, is the timing belt change, and we'll get to that in a little while. But the other thing was that a high-pressure fuel pump needed to be changed out. It's not really that big a deal. It's actually up on the top, and it's not that expensive to do, but there's a few little issues with it. And one of them was a design change that they had at the beginning, and then they made a change to. It's the fuel line that goes in. On the older models, has a little banjo bolt. So it has like a round connector that the banjo bolt goes through. The round connector is where the fuel comes in, and then the fuel goes up the banjo bolt and out to, or into the fuel pump. Now that one's really hard to get the bolt into, and it has like a triple square, which is a weird end on it on the bottom. That's hard to get a socket or a attachment into in order to get it to change. Later on, they changed that to a barbed fitting, so the hose could just get slid on and then you clamped it on, but not hours. And it took us forever to get this thing changed. There was a lot of frustration, there was a lot of laughter, and there was a lot of just difficulty as we would try to get it in, and then I'd try to get the thing connected, and then it would fall, and then it would fall in different places, and then we would think it fell on the floor, and then it didn't fall on the floor, it fell in different spots in the engine, and then we'd have to crawl down in to try to get this back out, and then we'd try all over again. Going through this process helped us learn the power of perseverance, how frustrations can mount and then how to handle them and how to deal with them, how to push through and to learn how things work, why good design is very important on different kinds of things, and maybe some creative ways to express our frustrations without having to resort to out-and-out swearing. Now, these are all things that I've told him before. And I know these are all things that he's seen in the way that his mother and I engage with life and do different kinds of things, but actually having him involved in the process and having to help to try to get the end into the banjo bolt and then push it up and get it started without it falling apart and without things falling all over the place, and then having to pick it up and to try again and again and again and again and again. Learning about these things was so much deeper and richer when he was actually involved in the process. And the same thing is true about so many different aspects of our lives. Having someone actually walk alongside us and help guide us through whatever it is we are dealing with is so useful. This is one of the reasons why having a life coach or a counselor is so important for us, because we can learn from books or sermons or other kinds of things all the time. Someone can tell us something, and maybe even we can see it in someone. Maybe we had a good relationship with a parent that had a good relationship in a number of different ways, but to actually have someone walk alongside and help us figure out exactly how to apply things in our lives and maybe how to learn from our own mistakes makes that learning so much deeper. And I think this is especially true for us as Christians as we learn what it looks like to follow Jesus, or as we might call discipleship. To learn to be a disciple or a follower of Jesus, the best way to do so is to walk alongside somebody else who is farther along the journey of being a disciple or a follower of Jesus, because they can help guide us and help shape us. So here's a question for you. If you're in a place where you don't really know what the next step might look like, or even where you wonder and you have different opportunities available to you and you just are curious about what might be the best step forward, maybe someone can help you. Who is it that can help you? And then how will you make that ask? It's important to learn how to ask for help from other people and to ask for advice and maybe even just share and find someone that can walk alongside you in your life. And then there's the flip side of that question as well. Who can you help and how will you make that offer? Because there's ways in which God has led us through different kinds of things in our lives, and there's things that we have learned through experience that we can pass on to others, that you can pass on to others.